Hey guys, I'm just continuing the conversation about homosexual marriage. Today we're going to be taking a look at another issue that tends to prevent meaningful conversations about whether or not homosexual marriage should be legal or not. Almost every time people begin to talk about whether or not homosexual marriage should be legal or not, the conversation inevitably shifts towards whether or not homosexual marriage would be moral, and I think that's a mistake. A thing being immoral doesn't make it illegal, and that's why shifting the conversation to morality is kind of irrelevant. But what is immoral does tend to be illegal, but something being immoral is not what causes a thing to be illegal. As far as I can see, laws in America are based upon two factors. One, they try to give people as much freedom to do whatever they want. And two, it tries to prevent people from causing harm to each other. Now, this current system is not simply determining what is immoral and then making it illegal. As a rule, American laws are not an attempt to legislate morality. So unless you want to change the way American laws are made, then determining whether or not homosexual marriage would be immoral is not the same as determining whether or not it should be illegal. Now, it's pretty clear that laws are not based upon morality because it's really easy to come up with a list of things that are typically thought of as immoral that are not illegal. Lust, premarital sex, adultery, gluttony, jealousy, pride, disrespecting your parents, being a bad Samaritan. I mean, the list goes on. The way the laws are currently set up, they give us the freedom to do immoral things, and we have that freedom as long as it doesn't lead us to harm each other. Now, all this merely shows that a certain action is immoral is not, or showing that a certain action is immoral is not sufficient to proving that thing should also be illegal, unless you want to argue that we redefine the criteria America has been using to base laws on what is or isn't legal. Now, the conversation about whether or not homosexual unions are moral or not is still worth having, but it isn't really relevant to the conversation about whether or not homosexual marriage should be legal or not. And while this video hasn't gone so far to say the government is obligated to allow homosexuals the ability to marry, I believe it has shown that there is not sufficient reason to make homosexual marriage illegal. Now, I've now made 2 videos critiquing arguments raised against homosexual marriage, and soon I'll be making another video critiquing an argument made for homosexual marriage. And once that's finished, there'll be a link here, as well as in the more info section. But as it turns out, there are bad arguments both for and against homosexual marriage, and avoiding those arguments and distractions will hopefully lead to a more productive conversation about the issue. As always, test everything, hold on to the good.